Welcome to episode 181 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. My co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How you doing, Warren?
I am doing excellent. Thank you.
All right. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're here. And Jeff Gamet's back on the show. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great because I'm hanging out with both of you.
Yes. I'm glad.
That was my answer.
Always glad you are here to talk about stuff, especially Apple. Plenty of news stories we got this week. It looks like 15.2 beta RSC release candidate is out. We'll talk about that and some tips and all kinds of fun stuff. We always end up having some great lively conversations. So let's go ahead and dig into the stories here. This first article is about Verizon. Verizon is tracking your iPhone users by default, and there's nothing Apple can do about it. How do you turn it off? For more than a year now, one of the biggest stories in tech, Apple pushed to require developers to request permission from users before tracking their activity. That had serious implications with advertisers, blah, blah, blah. Of course, Facebook was the loudest. Verizon, on the other hand, they decided that they have this new thing they want to block. And it is a service called the Custom Experience. And it does allow you to watch what you do, but you can opt out, but there's quite a few hoops you have to jump through. This is actually an article in Inc. Magazine. I'm noticing that this is not as easy to explain, but Jeff, what do you think? This has been all over the news this past week, and I don't think Verizon's very smart doing this.
No, they're not smart doing this. Okay, so you have two things here. You have your carriers need to track you in a legit way, right? Because they need to know what tower you're on, and it's just part of how cell phones work. The other part where they're just going to go ahead and exploit that for other uses and make it incredibly difficult for you to opt out of that is crappy. Yeah, and this is exactly why people hate their cell service provider. Our cable company or broadband companies do the same thing. Yep. This is why we hate our broadband companies. Yep,
they sure do. And boy, you can look through some of the hoops you have to jump through here just to set your privacy settings in your Verizon account. I'm glad I'm not a Verizon customer. What do you think, Warren?
I think that most cell phone companies already are tracking you anyways, to be honest with you. Yeah. They kind of know where you are by location, by the tower you're on. They know enough of where you are as it is. So I'm on T-Mobile anyway. It doesn't bother me too much, but it wouldn't bother me if I was on Verizon. I figured, they know where I am either way. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the difference is between knowing where you are all the time, totally legit use of their network because they need to know where you are. Mm-hmm. Taking advantage of that to market to you and sell to you without giving you an easy opt-out, that part's not cool.
Where does it say they're using it to advertise and sell?
I thought that was one of the things they were doing.
I looked through it and I don't see it, but for what I could see, there's basically it says there's a custom experience with that, but it doesn't really tell you what the custom experience gives you. So I'll look through it later, but I don't know what they're actually, it just says we're tracking, but doesn't say what they're actually doing with the tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Standard tracking, that's no big deal because they have to anyhow.
Yeah. I mean, they know where you are. I mean, I don't know where in your states, but online gambling is legal in some states and some states it's not.
Money.
Mm-hmm. And the phone knows where you are by its tower, and that's how it will let you on that. I don't know for sure, but that's what I heard.
Yeah. I posted an article from Cult of Mac too, because this Inc. article seems to be all over the place trying to read through it. So, but take a look at that. Yeah, it'll give you, if you're a Verizon's customer, give you some explanations on how to opt out of any of this crazy stuff that violates your privacy, honestly. Next story here on Mac Observer, Prince William's Apple Fitness Plus Time to Walk is now available. His Royal Highness Prince William is the final guest on season 2 of Time to Walk on Apple Fitness Plus. This episode, it was released Monday this week. The Duke of Cambridge discusses the importance of keeping mentally fit and reflects on a moment he was out of his comfort zone. So this is kind of cool, and I haven't had a chance to really look at a lot of these Time to Walk. I really should. I know Dolly Parton did it and a number of other celebrities. This is a really cool thing. It was part of Fitness Plus, and of course, they're bad. Not even utilizing it. I should be. Warren, do you use this at all? And what do you think?
I think I wouldn't listen to Prince William normally, and I don't like to walk that much. So just having both of them at the same time doesn't appeal to me too much, to be honest.
Okay, Jeff, what do you think?
I think Warren's awesome.
Yeah, he is. I know. I just try not to call it cracking up here, but.
So I'm not using Fitness Plus.
Yeah.
To be fair, I probably should.
You and me both.
But I'm not. But still, I mean, what Apple's doing with Fitness Plus, I think this is awesome. Yeah. It's really cool, and it just helps underscore Apple's commitment to their whole fitness program. And I say that it sounds like I'm saying Apple is the most altruistic company in the world, and they're doing all of this just for our health benefits. Well, no, they want to sell us stuff. And the great thing is, in this case, what they're selling us is also actually good for us. So it's kind of a win all the way around.
Absolutely. Check it out. Next story here. This was an Apple Insider. Chris O'Dowd added to an upcoming Apple TV Plus comedy series called Big Door Prize. Apple TV Plus begins filling out its cast for its upcoming comedy series, Big Door Prize, adding Chris O'Dowd from IT Crowd fame. Love that show, to its list of performers. The Big Door Prize follows the residents of a small town called Deerfield, and there's one here locally here, who one day discover a magical destiny predicting machine in their grocery store. Okay, looks like an interesting show, and I'm glad to see there's going to be some more new content from Apple TV Plus. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, this is great. I have no idea if I'll have any interest in the show.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because Apple is building up a diverse library of content. And that's more important than making sure that I'm personally happy with every show. Yeah. I mean, although it'd be great if they did that too. Yeah. But so this is great.
Well, ultimately, I would like to have them have done a remake of IT Crowd, but who am I?
I was going to bring that up to him.
Okay, so that would have been kind of cool too.
They tried. Did you watch the first? There's a pilot.
It was horrible. It was absolutely.
Well, it was an exact duplicate of the first IT Crowd and overseas.
US.
And everybody was different. Everybody was different except for Moss. Richard, what's his name?
Yeah.
But
Ionadec.
And it was Joel McHale was down. So
okay.
it was awful. But that's. I would love for them to reboot that. I like Chris O'Dowd. I'm a big fan.
Bridesmaids he was in.
Bridesmaids. I think that was his first real thing. But he was he was in Get Shorty, the TV series with Raymond, the guy that everybody loves, and
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano. Yeah, so that's I might watch it. You don't have it on here too, but they just announced J-Law is going to be Elizabeth Holmes on Apple TV.
I saw that too. Yeah, so, that just came out too.
I am strangely attracted to Elizabeth Holmes. I am fascinated with this woman.
You're just into the bad girls.
She's just something about just when I saw that documentary of her
on
faking practicing
HBO.
Yeah, she was faking her the deep voice, and I'm like, this woman's awesome. Like, how do you keep that up for so long? It's incredible.
The whole so Elizabeth Holmes, a deep voice thing, and so I saw something earlier today where I'm sorry, who did you say is going to be playing her?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence, that's right. So, it said that it was actually going to be a team-up effort. Jennifer Lawrence is going to play her, but Patrick Warburton was going to voice her.
Yeah, that's awesome. and you got to have the turtleneck. But,
oh, my God.
Yeah, the documentary was crazy, but I am so
she is creepy and bizarre.
She's going to get off, I think, this trial.
Yeah.
I think she's going to get off.
We'll see.
Anyhow.
This goes to a strange device released for an iPhone here. This is a Mac Rumors. Razer launches Magsafe compatible cooling fan for iPhones. Razer today, this was this week, announced the launch of the Razer Phone Cooler Chroma, a MagSafe compatible fan that is designed to attach to the back of the iPhone. While there is a MagSafe version for the 12 and 13 model, there's also a second version with a clamp design, meaning meant for Android phones that would also work on non-MagSafe iPhones. Razer says this phone cooler Chroma has a 7-blade fan and up to 6,400 RPM, 30 dB of noise protection, and quiet performance. And it's got a Bluetooth connection too for adjusting the fan properties. And why would you need this, other than the fact maybe you're doing lots of gaming and you're going to have this big giant puck on the back of your iPhone to play a game? What do you think, Jeff?
Okay, when I first heard about this, my initial thought was, oh, that's interesting. You know, there's a lot of places where it's hot, and now you can put a fan on your phone and cool yourself off. And I thought, that's kind of a stretch, but okay. And then I read what it actually was, and I was like, I can actually believe this more if it was a personal fan and not a fan to cool down my iPhone.
It blows the wrong way. Yeah. I all I think of is other places I could stick it on to just for fun. And then I thought maybe if you could have like some kind of attachments where you could put 2 of them on your head, on each side of your head. That would be a good idea too, like to cool your head.
Yeah.
They would.
When you're thinking really hard, put these on.
Cool you off.
It's definitely cyberpunk. Put 2 on your eyes. It's definitely got some use cases in that. But not. My phone has never been hot enough for me to even notice it.
Rack this up to one of $60 they want for it too. Yeah, it's a hard pass for me. But they always got to report those fun things that are out there and interesting things too.
It looks cool.
Yeah. So next story here. This is a report in Mac Rumors. iOS users who are opting out of app tracking continue to be tracked by Facebook and Snapchat. Loose interpretations of Apple's privacy policy also allows apps such as Facebook and Snapchat to continue tracking users for targeted advertising, even though they have asked not to be tracked. As we know, the app transparency, I don't need to go through that again, that was released, allowing us users to opt out of being tracked across any apps and websites for advertising purposes. 7 months after Apple introduced the feature, companies such as Snapchat and Facebook have purportedly been allowed to continue sharing user-level signals from iPhones, providing that data is anonymized and aggregated rather than directly linked to specific user profiles. So interesting to see that this was kind of discovered. Again, this is a report, so this really hasn't been officially announced, hence the rumors site. But if this is the case, boy, I would say Apple's not going to be too happy about this if they aren't already or not already by seeing this article. Don't you think, Jeff?
Well, yeah, Apple's not going to be happy, regardless of whether or not their terms of service actually allow Facebook and other companies to do this. Apple's not going to be happy because it doesn't look good for me. Facebook doing this, I'm not surprised on any level whatsoever. There's no moral compass leading that company. Therefore, stuff like this is going to happen.
Absolutely. Not surprised at all. Any thoughts, Doran?
I mean, if Facebook figures out if Facebook figured out how to do it, it doesn't look good for Apple because Apple didn't find a way to prevent that. and Facebook doing it because they're heartless. No, they're doing it because they want money, and if they figure out a way to do it, other apps are going to do it if they succeed. So the best outcome would be for Apple to figure out how to make it so they can't do it at this point, because companies are kind of when Apple makes any of these kind of rules when it comes to as soon as there's a workaround, they're going to figure it out. So and when it comes to like the third-party app store, that's going to be a whole mess too, because there's going to as soon as you open things up a little bit like this or block things a little bit, if there's a way around it, everybody's going to do it. So,
yep,
yeah, weren't you totally right? But that does not preclude Facebook being heartless.
Okay.
No. We could have an entire debate about Facebook, but let's not.
Here's a doll, Jeff. Tell me where Facebook croaks you.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it here?
Yeah. How much time do you have?
Yeah. Point where they hurt.
Yeah. Ouchie. Next couple stories here, more firmware updates for devices. First one I was kind of surprised about is the Magsafe charger. The firmware is upgraded. Okay, there's firmware on a Magsafe charger cable. I would never who'd have thought, but this is actually announced today as we record this. Apple today upgraded the firmware for the Magsafe charger that is compatible with the iPhone 12 and iPhone 13 models that have the magnets inside. The new firmware version 10M229 up from 9M5069. The Magsafe charger initially came out in fall of 2020 alongside the iPhone 12 models, and I guess it's seen another firmware upgrade we didn't even know about. So, and of course, most of these updates are quietly done over the air, so we have no release notes of what it's doing. But I guess it's fixing something. Why do these come out?
Clearly, the Magsafe one is so that that new fan can stick better.
That's it. There you go. There must be the reason.
There must be. So I bought the knockoff Magsafe charger at Target. It was like $9 or $10.
How could you?
Well, okay. I also have the regular ones too. But my point is that if there's like anything that could possibly have a firmware in this thing, there's no way that Target's version has one like that. No. So it works. I will say it kind of works because when my wife uses it charges and goes down, blinks, blink, blink like that. When I go on my phone, it works. So it's maybe that's. Anyways, there's something in there because when you put the Magsafe on the back of a Magsafe phone, you get the graphic on the phone. So that's the only difference with the knockoff. It somehow knows that it's a Magsafe compatible thing. Other than that, I think it's the silliest thing in the world to have any kind of device in there that would require like any kind of processor, I guess, or something.
Well, how are you going to make it more mag or more safe or more charger if you don't have a firmware in there?
That's in the notes. Less explosion.
Less explosion.
20% less exploding with the update.
Well, and of course, you have a MagSafe charger firmware. You've got to have your AirPods as well. This one must be at least about the fifth or sixth I can think of. But this covers the AirPods 3, the AirPods Pro, and the AirPods Max headphones.
Also, 20% less explosion on those.
Sweet.
So this is moving up to 4A402, which is a two number increment from last time. Again, no standard reason why that this is being done or any explanations. Figuring bug fixes. There is no really any way to upgrade it. It just upgrades on its own. You can connect your AirPods to your device and then open the settings app and see what your firmware version is. But beyond that, I don't know what else is doing to upgrade this. So the fun times of firmware for this week. You guys, anything else to add on that?
Nope. Give me a way to force up firmware updates on these devices.
Yeah, I want to. It's because like you, Jeff, I love upgrading things.
Right. I live to upgrade. Yeah. And my favorite is to do an ambiguous upgrade that we have no idea what it does.
Exactly. Just do it.
Why do they even tell us
That's right.
with these things?
To taunt us.
Because Mac rumors, they have to tell us everything, and that's what we like them about. Like them by doing that.
I love to update too, but not my Apple TV. I could care less. I don't even.
You barely use it.
Well, I use it all the time. I use it. I just don't. I mean, I've never seen an update in my lifespan of owning one of these things that excited me.
Yeah.
On it. So.
All right. Next story here. Also, Mac Rumors lawsuit claiming swollen Apple Watch batteries can lead to "quote unquote" substantial personal injury. Every generation of the Apple Watch has a battery swelling defect that can cause operational failures, injuries from broken screens. States a new class action lawsuit that has been filed against Apple. According to the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, Apple has manufactured the watch in a way that it allows the lithium cobalt oxide battery to contact the watch screen. And in situations where the battery swells, it could cause the display to pop up. It actually happened to me. I think I had the Series 3 or maybe the Series 4. And I had to get Apple to replace it. Kind of scared me a little bit, especially pay all this kind of money for an Apple Watch. And that happens. Luckily, it was under warranty. I guess the lawsuit describes a situation where a man had an Apple Watch Series 3 that saw the screen detached due to the battery swelling 3 years after the device was originally purchased, which that stinks. He was in a golf cart and reached down from the steering wheel to place it in motion when the detached screen severely sliced the underside of his forearm. Oh, cutting a vein.
Oh, the edge.
Ouch.
Ouch.
So this affects, boo-hoo. This affects all Apple Watch models except the Series 7, so I'm safe. And so is Warren.
Sorry, Jeff.
You're screwed. Again, these lawsuits that people, you have a number of people have problems and they have to file these, and sometimes I just disagree with this stuff. Why are you bothering? It's just the percent is so low of this happening. Don't you think?
Yeah, but someone wants some money.
Yeah, especially the lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because those are the people that actually make money off the lawsuits.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I feel bad for the guy that got cut by the edge of the display. I mean, that really sucks. But we're talking about devices where they have rechargeable batteries, and the batteries, when they get old, when they wear out, they can swell. And this isn't just an Apple thing. This is all the devices. So this is like filing a lawsuit against nature because the sun rises every morning and sets every night, and it gets cold at night because the sun sets.
Yeah, that's about it. Any other thoughts, Warren?
I mean, I could sue a lot of things that I hurt myself on in my life. Like Jeff said, it's a point of life. I mean, when things break, sharp edges could happen, and that's true for everything in the world. But anything that has a surface area to it, so it's stupid.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And then last story, Mac Rumors, iOS 15 now installed on nearly 60% of devices, exactly 80 days after its launch. So the iOS 15 is approaching 60% adoption across all devices. It's only been 80 days. That's not bad to the public after the official reveal in June of 2021. Of course, this is according to a third-party website, Mixpanel. As of Thursday, the third-party data analytics company said about close to 60% are now running iOS 15, compared to about approximately 36% of when it was iOS 14 the year before. So it looks like the adoption rate's starting to pick up, especially because it has a lot of the new features. I think really is probably what excited a lot of people. What do you think, Jeff? That I think a lot of people got excited about live text and a lot of some of the new things that the iOS 15 added.
I agree, and I think that people aren't realizing how significant this percentage actually is, because previous years, you just get the little update notice. It said, hey, it's time to install the software update. But now you have to look at the bottom of the software update screen to see that there's actually this other software update available for you that's iOS 15. And so initially there were a lot of people not updating because they didn't know. They didn't see it. And if you had a smaller phone screen, even an iPhone 10, you couldn't see it. You had to scroll up to see it. Right. So, the fact that there are that many people that are intentionally installing iOS 15, I think that's pretty significant.
Yep. What do you think, Warren?
There was it had a slow start, right? If I'm remembering right, we did a story when iOS first came out that wasn't getting adopted as quickly as some of the others. So, so I guess it's been, people wait for the first, what are they on now? 15.2 is coming out. So
yeah, we're on 15.1.1 right now, I think.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people waited on the .1 release to jump on board because they were worried about couple things, so that's good. More people came on, and hopefully they'll come on after 15.2. You talk to a lot of people in IT. They're like, I won't deploy this until it's on whatever. Yeah. So there's a lot of people out there like that. So
Monterey too.
Yeah, well, or anything, anything computer wise, like
yep,
Windows or whatever. I won't do it until it's service level 3. Remember that? XP.
Oh, yeah, right. Service Pack 3, yeah.
Service Pack 3.
That's right. Oh my God. But you know what? Compared to Android, adoption of OS is always at a high percentage for Apple. So it's great. It's really great to see that. I mean, all of us here adopt it pretty quickly, and of course, we'll be talking about beta here that's a good lead in here. That iOS 15.2 release candidate is out for both iOS and iPad OS to developers. I believe it also released to the public as well. And the biggest thing that the iOS 15.2 is adding is the app privacy reports, allowing you to see who and what and why people are accessing of the apps you use, sensitive data that you're granting. Then they added the legacy context feature. The big thing I think this is going to add is the thing with Apple Music, which we talked about in previous shows here that was announced. Apple Music voice plan, and we're going to talk about that as a separate topic here in just a minute here. That they've added that. So privacy report, like I said, and the messages. They got the safety for the young kids, for the communications and the parents getting warnings, Siri search, and Apple. We've talked about the Mail app and iCloud Plus, lots of other stuff, and of course bug fixes. You're always going to see bug fixes in there, and CarPlay even has an enhanced city map in Apple Maps with road details like turn lanes, medians, bike lanes, pedestrian crosswalks, for supported cities, of course. So it looks like it's a pretty comprehensive update. And again, Warren, you've been running it on your primary devices. Still solid. Having any problems?
All good. Still good.
So, where's Universal Control?
Yeah, that's
Apple promised it by the end of the year.
That's going to be MIA, and it's not. Yeah, I forgot that. I should have added that article. Universal Control across Mac, and iOS and iPad OS. Yeah, it's still.
It's a good thing I saw. So I bought the iPad Pro, the 13-inch initially because of that feature. Yeah. And then I ended up trading in for the Mini. I'm so glad I did because it's never coming.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
I'll be surprised if we get the feature this year. And
it's vaporware.
Yeah, I'm feeling like Universal Control is kind of a vaporware thing right now.
It's too buggy. They just aren't.
Which disappoints me because that's one of the primary features that I wanted.
Me too.
In
Another feature that was added with iOS 15 is the parts and service history feature. With the launch of 15.2, Apple is going to add a new parts and service history section to the settings app that allow users to see the service history of their iPhones and confirm that components used to repair are genuine. I should check that on an iPhone. I just had to replace the 10s. See what it says.
Where's that?
It's outlining a new support document. Users who have iOS 15.2 or later install in settings general about, and then you're able to access the parts and service history. Maybe you could see that if it's on yours, if it's been released. It says Apple will provide different information on components depending on the iPhone version. For the 10R, 10S, 10S Max, and later, including the SE second gen, you can see if the battery had been replaced. And iPhone 11, 12, 13 models, you can see if the battery or the display had been replaced. 12 and 13 models can see if the battery, display, or camera had been replaced. So there's this is kind of going along the lines of being able to support yourself and buying genuine parts. Looks like Apple's really going all out. Don't you think, Jeff? This is interesting.
Yeah, it's this is not the path I was expecting Apple to take. But I mean, it makes sense from a legal strategy standpoint. Still, I wasn't expecting them to go this far with it. So
they're really opening it up.
Yay for us as consumers.
Yeah, they're really opening it up, and iFixit's happy. A lot of other repair shops are happy that they can get hands on parts and they don't have to be an authorized reseller to do it, or authorized support center. So there's another thing that they've added into 15.2. And they also seeded Watch OS 8.3 to developers. I'm assuming, Warren, you've seen nothing. It's the same old, same old.
Well, let me show you this large gaping wound on my wrist after I installed that update.
Warren, if you didn't make the joke, I was going to be so disappointed.
Oh, my gosh.
The screen popped off as soon as I did the update.
Oh, my gosh.
There's so much data, pop the screen off.
It didn't have enough memory, and it didn't have enough hard drive space, so yeah, better explode. No, I have not noticed a thing with it. It's fine. Maybe a little bit snappier than normal, which is nice.
And I did talk about in the previous shows about the Assistive Touch on Apple Watch models. They have now expanded this with the latest release to older Apple Watch models. Apple did preview this feature back in May of this year. And Assistive Touches, of course, allow for WatchOS enable people with upper body and limb differences to be able to use the Apple Watch without even having to touch the display or controls, with sensors and on-device learning. So they now have extended it to the models previous. So this is SE, and looks like whatever models at 4 and the 5 series are also going to be compatible with 8.3. So this is great. So they did expand some more of accessibility with this, and I started trying to play with it, but it does take a little getting used to. So I got to definitely tell you that. So, and then tvOS got released again. Never anything of any note that was released. This is a release candidate as well. So it looks like 15.2 its release is imminent unless they find a bug, and sometimes we've seen them before to come out with another RC version release candidate, and we'll see what happens. So next topic was I was going to talk a little bit about the Apple Music voice plan. That's coming to iOS 15.2. It is now in the release candidate version of 15.2 that developers can test. And Apple says the new Apple Music voice plan is set to launch along with the update. Again, if anybody doesn't remember, the voice plan is a new tier of Apple Music that is priced more affordably than the standard Apple Music plan. It's $4.99 a month as opposed to $9.99 a month, and it's completely designed around Siri. With the voice plan, you'll be able to access and play songs, playlists, and albums on their Apple devices solely through Siri requests. Boy, that scares me. The plan does not allow the standard Apple Music user interface, instead offering a customized in-app experience with suggestions based on music preferences. Though the music plan the voice music plan is limited to a voice-based song playback and provides access to all Apple Music songs, playlists, and stations. So all you have to do is ask Siri. You've got to be really talented, don't you think, Jeff, of using Siri more so than ever with this plan?
I love the plan is happening,
Yeah.
but I'm concerned about how well it's going to work for people. I mean, I talk to my HomePods all the time to play music, and I'll say things like,
not just for conversation.
I'm a lonely man. But I'll say things like, "Hey, S lady, play my friends list,"
Right.
and it will come back and tell me that it's playing some album by some artist that it's completely missing what I'm saying, and I'll try again, can't do it. Try again, can't do it, and so then I have to tell the HomePod to play something else, and then later on maybe it'll work, maybe the next day it works, but I mean there's still way too much inconsistency with how the S lady handles the stuff for Apple Music. So I'm expecting we will eventually see memes like the old Simpsons meme with the kid writing on the message pad that he wants to beat up Homer or beat up
Eat up
Bart.
Martha.
Yeah.
Eat up Martha is what it translated to.
And then it becomes Eat Up Martha.
And then
so
he throws in the yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have a Eat Up Martha meme thing for HomePod.
Nice.
Yep. There's an article here from Mac Rumors here that one of the contributors actually started doing some testing. Of note, knowing that the voice plan subscribers cannot listen to songs in spatial audio or lossless audio. You can't download songs for offline playback. You can't watch music videos. You can't view lyrics. You can't see what friends are listening to or listen on other supportive platforms like Android. So if you're an Android user, you are not using Apple Music. You can if you have the full subscription plan. It'll be available across all of the OSs, iOS 15.2, iPad OS 15.2, Mac OS 12.1. So we got to wait for the next update to Monterey here. Watch OS 8.3, tvOS 15.2. It'll be in 17 countries and regions, including the United States and many others. So it looks like they're all in with this plan. And this is definitely going to be interesting to see how it works when people subscribe and how much that they keep their subscription. Because I would find this to be frustrating. I just would want the full plan and just be done with it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people where this will actually be great.
Yeah.
Because all they want to do is say, "Hey, S lady, play Adele."
They're not doing this. There's two groups of people out here. There's people like who want the music and are going to pay, whatever we pay to get the service, and then there's people who don't want to pay. We're kids, and they're not doing this. There's no in between. So they're either going to listen to free Spotify accounts or free Pandora accounts or torrent what they need to torrent, and this. So I don't think there's going to be many subscribers, if even any. But it's not any skin off Apple. It's not like they're losing money on it. They could come up with 5 of these different type of plans, and it's not like it's not going to cost them anything, because it's basically just to probably hit a button on their side that says, no, you get this, and that's it. So, it's not really a risk to them, but I don't think it's going to be very popular, to be honest with you.
I'd be surprised. I'd be real honest. But they've proved us wrong otherwise. We don't know here. So
well, they know their markets. I don't think they'd come out with this if they didn't think it was going to work. Now, that said, maybe they should have consulted with you, Warren, so that they would know not to do this. And
what Apple wanted to do is do what everybody else does and give you like free Apple Music with advertisements, but Apple's not. They don't do that. They don't advertise.
Right.
So like, all right. So how can we get these kids that listen to this free stuff on Pandora or Spotify with the free accounts with the advertisements to kind of get into the Apple Music? All right. Well, we won't. We have to charge something, and we'll do this. That's what they're betting on. But these people are cheap, and they're not going to do it, and it's not that important to them. So they're going to stick with what they got. I think. I mean, there's no free tier of Apple Music at this point, right? There's some of the radio stations I think they can listen to. There's a few things you could do in the music app if you're not a subscriber, but I'm not sure what they are. But
yeah, the way you get Apple Music free right now is buy a new computer or a new Apple device.
That's right. They get like 3 months or something like that.
And you get 3 months.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But the free would add service that Hulu has and Spotify and all these other places are where the kids are. That's where they hang out because they don't have money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to some tips here we've got for this week, and we also got an app here I'm going to share in just a minute. This was an article I found on MacObserver. Our friend Jeff Butts wrote it just a couple days ago here, or 2 days ago, as we record. Your iPhone can actually help you predict your fall risk. And like I said, he said here, let's face it, as we get older, our bodies don't work as well. I'll second that motion.
That's a
yeah, exactly. And we might suffer some poorer balance than in your youth and your various aches and pains that make life interesting. That's a good way to say it, Jeff. So the Apple Health app on the iPhone can help detect potential health problems, and one of them is a fall risk. So on an iPhone 8 or later running iOS 15, you can track your walking steadiness. This gives you a insight into your fall risk, so you can take appropriate measures. And then the feature is called, as I was saying, walking steadiness. It uses custom algorithms to evaluate your balance, stability, and coordination. And it'll just pop up on the screen here. And the way you set this up is you actually go in. It's not turned on by default, so you have to go in, but it's easy to enable. In the iPhone, you open up the Health app, you go into the summary, you scroll down, and you'll see walking steadiness notifications. Tap Setup, and there'll be a bunch of prompts that you just go through, and it'll show you, and it'll give you a kind of a chart to show how you were for for just like everything else. That shows across a week's time, or 6 months, or a month, or a year, how your steadiness was. So kudos to Apple for putting in another great health option with your Apple Watch and your iPhone.
All right, I just turned it on.
Yeah, all right. Let's test it out.
Let's fall.
Push out.
I actually tried to do fall tests with the Apple Watch when that feature was added, and I did that on I can't remember which show I did it on.
Yes, but you tested it out.
I tested it live on the show, and what I did was I bruised my leg falling, but I didn't fall. I didn't fall real enough. I was still too fake, so it didn't work. When I've actually done real falls,
let's try it again.
Totally works.
Yeah, cool. I wanted to detect different types of walks you do, like if I walk like an Egyptian, will it say walking like an Egyptian?
Right.
Or if I do like the 9 to staying alive walk, does it start playing Staying Alive? That would be good.
That would be good.
That would be.
But you have to be an Apple Music subscriber.
Right. This is true. So check it out. This actually, you won't be able to check it out just yet unless you have the beta version of 15.2. But when 15.2 comes out, this is going to be a really cool feature.
It's in 15.1.1. I just turned it on.
Oh, it is? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Let me go back and look. I didn't see it because I thought he said it was in 15.2. So we went into the Health app. And then I'm in summary. That's the first thing that comes up, and you're supposed to just scroll
down
so you see.
And then And then you'll be like, oh, I guess that's everything. But then scroll again because I think it's loading only part of the list at a time.
Okay. So highlights, active energy, update your regular beats and cardio levels. Oh, there it is. Fall detection. That's fall detection, not walking steadiness.
Oh, did I turn on fall detection?
No, I think you did
instead. Oh, well, whatever.
I think you did. Okay, I wasn't crazy.
All right,
it's coming.
That's fair enough.
We'll talk about it again and see what people think once that it's out in the wild there. So,
welcome to try to walk like an Egyptian.
All right, so great. I can check on my falling on my watch or my phone now.
Yep. So we'll see it. We'll see what happens, huh?
All right.
I try not to go into a health app. It scares me.
Yeah, you and me both.
I can appreciate that.
You and me both. All right, let's talk a little bit about the file formats for photos. HEIC, we've talked about that many times on the show here. That's the format that Apple is now using by default on an iPhone, HEIC or HEIF, and it's not supported by every operating system. Trust me, I've experienced it. Being in tech support, trying to get a Windows machine to open it up, unless you have the third-party plugin to open it, is not a fun thing. So to get universal compatible, you might want to convert the picture to JPEG. We've got a link to an article here, an iDownload blog that actually shows a bit of a tutorial on how to do it. I'll just kind of describe what it does. And HEFC was actually developed by Moving Picture Experts Group, MPEG. Well, we've been that around for a long time. It's just it's a more high efficiency image container. That's what HEIC stands for. And it was just more of a way of compressing the photos enough that it didn't take up as much space on your device. And this started in iOS 11. And you'll know right away if the photo is HEIC or not, especially when you're sharing it with other people. Like iMessage and other apps are compatible, but believe me, you'll know when you start sharing, especially on a computer. There's a couple ways of you can do this. In fact, the first step here that it talks about converting HEIC to JPEG using the iPhone's Files app. And the way you do that is you open up the image in the Photos app, and then you tap the share icon, and then you tap Copy Photo. Then you open up the Files app, go into any location, any folder in that section, and then long press an empty area, and then tap Paste. It'll instantly convert the HEIC photo to JPEG. Now, honestly, that's a pretty fast way of doing it, because there were a lot of other ways of doing it. That's a bit of a long step there. And I forgot that you could do that. That's a great way of doing that. Have you guys done any conversions of HEIC?
A lot, and honestly, most of the time, it's because I'm sitting at my Mac,
right, and
I need to send someone that can't open the file,
right,
and I've always just used Preview.
Okay, yeah, you can use that. The other suggestion, they may have not done this many times, is just take a screenshot if it's not a huge importance of how the quality of the photo is. But I mean, screenshots do a pretty darn good job of taking good pictures as well too. So you could do that. There is also third-party apps, the iPhone apps using the dedicated HEIC converters from the App Store can convert those apps pretty on the fly as well. There is an app called the Image Converter in the App Store, and what you could do, it looks like it's free. That works on the iPhone or the Mac, for that matter. Well, actually, yeah, it does. It says view in the Mac App Store. I guess you can. Oh, that's right. Because it's on an M1, you probably can use it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's a way of taking a look to see where how you can convert things using a third-party app. And then there's a number of others like Cloud Convert. I'm not going to get into some of these things. You also could go, and if you wanted to, you could change the setting in the camera app and say take pictures with JPEG going forward. So if you don't want HEIC, there's that possibility. Have you guys tried that?
it lowers the quality.
It doesn't lower the quality.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. But of course, now with the new iPhone, like the 13 Pro Max, we have RAW, the RAW format. You can really take some pretty insane pictures, and it's always best to have the highest quality picture if you want. Take a look at that. I think there's some good tips in there for people who are having challenges with getting that converted. So.
Just a quick side note is you don't want to take too many pictures in RAW while you're in a room real fast.
Yeah, yes, you will. It will definitely be a problem here. So, another tip here. This was our friends at OSX Daily. This actually just came out yesterday, actually. Fixing that dreaded "the message has not been downloaded from the server in mail" on the iPhone and the iPad. How many times have you seen that? Lots.
Lots.
So a couple of the tips it's giving here is, make sure you're online. Of course, you're online. So I don't know if that's going to be much of a good tip here. Quitting and relaunching the mail app. Of course, we've all done that a million times. I don't know if that's really going to be something that's going to fix this problem. A lot of times it just might be just a connection issue. Restarting the iPhone or the iPad, that could tend to help. Let's get the message to load. Again, one of the reasons why does this happen? Again, there's just so many number of reasons. Like it says here, it could be a hiccup in communications. There could be a problem with the internet connection. There's any of a number of reasons. So honestly, there's probably not a really 100% foolproof way of fixing this, because it's purely, I think, more of a connection issue. Don't you guys think?
It's happens to me most if you're in a Wi-Fi building and you open up a message and you're walking outside and lose your Wi-Fi around that time, because it catches the header and then it doesn't load the body and then it's stuck that way, and then you try to do so many things to get it back.
Right. It's
definitely a connection issue between it has enough service to get to that point, but not enough service to finish what it's doing. It's what's happening.
Yeah. So good to be aware of, so you know you're not crazy why it's doing it. It's just,
well, you might be.
Well, some of us are, but
yeah, you might be crazy, but this isn't why.
No, that's not the reason.
This isn't.
Or maybe it is.
It's very possible. It's very possible. And then we got an app here this week, or I have an app here I found. Actually, this was an article was written here, and I've also got a link to the app itself. I don't know what that is. mBrowser.
mBrowser. I'm assuming that's how you would say it, because that's the new character.
Is that a new character? Okay, so mBrowser is a new,
no, like the sound a cow makes.
mBrowser.
It's a what?
mBrowser.
That character's moo, isn't it? It's a Greek letter mu.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck trying to search for it too, as I tried and I couldn't find it because
I better double check, because I might be being stupid live on the internet.
You might be.
It's possible.
Your guess is better than mine.
Alphabet.
So this is actually a browser for the Apple Watch, and it is surprisingly great, according to 9to5 Mac here. And
it is a move. I'm sorry. It's the 12th letter of the,
okay. So make it challenging to search for it.
You're not crazy. Go ahead.
So of course it's, Apple's been, the browser's been missing from the watch purposely, because they're not surprised, because Apple chose to admit it from such a small device. But now the displays are getting significantly larger. I have the Series 7. It is time for a reconsider. A few years ago, Apple added the ability for apps to show web views if a link was tapped, but it was horrible. It really was. Well, there's this new app called mBrowser. It's only 99 cents. And I'm surprised. I was very surprisingly that I found that this doesn't look too terribly bad. Yes, it's small, but if in a pinch, it might be something you could just do a quick view of a particular website, and be able to get to it. When you, there are some quirks with it. It's easy to set up. You can go in the app, the the iPhone app and put in specific, if you want to have specific sites that you're searching or want to connect to, you can put it in there, and they're there. And, but it is actually a pretty slick app. I was playing around with it for a little bit here today. And, when you go into it, it does give a pretty good experience. Like I'm looking at Mac Rumors here on the watch, and, it does a pretty good job here, and you can see the images here in the article. But check it out. Again, it is 99 cents, so it's not really worth to bite the bullet and spend $1 on an app to see if you like it or not. Thanks for that link here for the Greek alphabet of what that was, Jeff. Yeah, check it out. I think it's a cool app. I think it's something you want to try. I mean, obviously you can't. I don't know if it's going to work on a smaller watch, but it doesn't say it's not compatible.
So, Jeff, not only are you going to die from the battery exploding, but you cannot use this browser on your watch. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It will cut me if I do. Right.
It might cut you.
Yes.
But
I mean, is this not like so tiny, Dave, that I haven't tried it, but I could barely see my phone. Are you kind of able to see?
Yeah, I didn't have too terrible a time looking at it. Let me pull up the website here and see if it. Now, the only thing is the quirk is it does have to prompt you that the browser wants to sign you in, and you have to tap continue. So I don't know if you could see it on camera here. I'm showing it on camera, but it's not bad. Mm-hmm. It really isn't that bad, considering. I know it's hard to see, but I
was tipping my head as if I could look around your wrist better.
Yeah. So you'll use this once, and this is the time that you just use it. So I'm sure it's nice, but you'll never use it again.
In a pinch, it might not be something. It might not be a bad thing. And I kudos to this developer that decided to take the time to create this. Arno Appenzeller.
I like the article because it has my exact band and watch face color.
Well, that is improved. That is important.
Yeah. Well, because it's the best. That green leather band and the green face is the best.
That's the Boba Fett watch.
Yep.
It is a Boba Fett watch. Or the St. Patrick's watch. That's what I like to call it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and wrap things up for this week. That was a lot of stuff we went over, and I hope you enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and do a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. We usually live stream the show here on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DaveG65. You can also watch the past streams and listen to all the episodes. Also visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the articles and topics we discuss are there. We have a link in the show notes. You can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Thanks for being here, Jeff. As always, where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me back again. Both of you rock. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm JGamet both places. YouTube.com/JGamet for my videos. Lots of Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live, Thursdays on The Big Show, and then Fridays on The Mac Show.
All right. We'll be on The Mac Show tomorrow as we record. And can't wait. And Warren, where can people find you?
I am on the Facebook and Mac to the Future group. Been active the last few days. I do this show, and I do occasionally Chuck's show. I wanted to do it Tuesday, but he wasn't here. I had the opportunity because
so did Patrice
this week. Yeah. So maybe next week. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. We appreciate it. Appreciate you guys listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk again soon.